All right, so we are going to talk about how we can incorporate citizenship into a PBELL experience. And in the past, we often talk about citizenship as it relates to meaningful problem. And in track three, we really want to shift our thinking a little bit. We want to shift from thinking about each of these components as a silo to really integrating them together. So if you want to increase the level of citizenship in your PBELL, you don't just focus on your meaningful problem. You also need to consider your solution development and sharing. And to do that, we ask ourselves two questions. We ask ourselves, who will our students be sharing their solution with? Is it going to be with their families and their classmates? Is it going to be with their school as a whole? Or is it going to be bigger? Is it going to be their community or a more global perspective? And then we also ask ourselves, how will students share their solution? Is it going to be a PowerPoint presentation that I present to a group of people sitting in front of me? Is it a brochure that gets mailed out? A podcast that gets shared? How? So let's take a problem that we know is meaningful and that we know lends itself to citizenship. How do families access fresh fruits and vegetables in a food desert? So a food desert is any location where they don't have access to fresh fruits and vegetables in, say, a grocery store. All right, so we know this problem is meaningful. It definitely lends itself to citizenship. But what I want to show you is that by changing the solution development and sharing, by changing the who and the how, we can change or increase the level of citizenship. So let's start with personally responsible. Okay, I might have my students research fresh fruit and vegetable options that are located in that food desert. So they might find Market on the Move, they might find community gardens or personal gardens, and then they put this information and they're going to present it in a PowerPoint to their peers and maybe to their family members. This is personally responsible. This is a personally responsible experience because they're really only impacting their own personal choices and the choices of their family. Still a phenomenal PBELL and a great example of citizenship. Just by altering a little bit the solution development sharing, the who and the how, I can increase the level of citizenship. So let's say I still have my students locate that access to fresh fruit and vegetables, but now they develop a brochure and they take this brochure and they map out where Market on the Move is and how you access it. And they map out the community garden and how you access it. And then this brochure gets sent, here's the who, to every single family in our school community. All right. See how our audience just got a little bit bigger? Now that's participatory citizenship because my students aren't just impacting their own choices or their family's choices. They're impacting other people. They're getting this solution out so that other people increase their own access to fresh fruits and vegetables. Now, we've always said that solution justice oriented is the most challenging. It's hard to always imagine, well, what would that look like in my school, in my community, in my classroom? We can take this exact same problem, how do families access fresh fruits and vegetables in a food desert, and just by altering that who and how for solution development and sharing, we can go to that highest level, solution justice oriented, social justice oriented citizenship. All right, here's what that looks like. They're not just going to locate fresh fruit and vegetable access in the neighborhood, all right? They're going to actually determine a new solution, all right? So they're going to research what other communities have done to get access to fresh fruits and vegetables. Then they notice that that's not happening. So they're now going to, here's the who and how, all right? They're going to develop a proposal for the city council and submit that proposal, talking about their new solution that they think that their community should have. Now it's social justice oriented solution. They've identified a root problem and they're working to solve it. Now, I do want to note that this whole experience could be simulated. They're simulating that proposal and they're not actually submitting it, or they could actually submit it and it's still social justice oriented because I'm teaching my students how they can make real change.